teeth right here, nothing in with her. My pants. Like they're cold. There are cookies over here, you guys.
How do we get the tanks? That looks really good.
Just sitting under that door.
I don't have a cover for here.
Oh, look, we can pretend.
Oh,
It is.
yeah, I don't know where it's at. They didn't really set this up very well.
No, it is 7 o'clock. This meeting, you all here?
Yeah,
Nope, there's Ginger. The meeting of the Willamina School Board is called to order. We shall start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. See, first up, Board of Education. We have no communication from Board of Education, correct? Next item on the list, I will entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second. The motion to approve the consent agenda has been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments for board discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed signify by saying nay. Vote appears unanimous. Ooh, I love that. Next up, we have the Superintendents Report.
Thank you. So this has been a busy month. We had 2 opportunities to meet with district and state leaders to address issues in Willamina. The first was actually celebrating the opening of the Relief Nursery, which took a little bit of work to get up here. It was a lot of funding that was donated by a private donor to get the facility to Willamina. But once we started in on the permit process, it became a real battle. As I know most of you are aware, we've got some major water issues in the community of Willamina, and our Willamina government is working really hard to address that, but it impacts us as well. We do not have the appropriate water flow or pressure at any of our hydrants, which prevents us from being able to build up here. So getting that relief nursery, the only way to do it was to add 2 water tanks that sit right next to it. Those big black tanks are water tanks in the event that there should be a fire, that they could use that water to make sure that they could protect that building. The other opportunity was actually to meet with state representatives and county commissioners to address the water and really talk about the need for the school to expand and the barrier the water presents in our ability to do that. And truly, that shouldn't be something we have to use our education funds to address, because it was basically an error at the time of construction and was approved, but it has become a big barrier for us since then. And without grants, that the price tag on improving the water line to the campus is about $1 million. With grants, we will potentially have a bill of about $250,000, which is the presentation of the city presented to the board when we agreed to become part of this project. Very good news, we just received another $2 million grant at the city level to address, to help support this project, but we're still not quite at our funding cap. But I know that another bill passed. I got information from Bonamici's office, and they've approved much more funding for infrastructure in Oregon. So we're hoping that Willamina can be this recipient of some more state grants to address the water issues in Willamina. Finance, like the city, we've been very, very successful in securing grants, competitive grants. So there's a lot of grants that every school district is entitled to have, Title I, Title II, Title III. The individual education, for disabilities, or Disabilities Education Act, so that's our special ed funding. Those are all title funds and federal funds that every school district gets based on your enrollment numbers. But there's also a lot of competitive grants that we have to write grant applications for and apply for. And we've been very, very successful in the past 6 years acquiring grants from outside agencies that have truly helped offset our general fund dollars, which allows us to be able to do many of the capital projects on this campus that we've done since bringing all the students up on this campus. Two of the items I'm really excited about is the approval from ODE to use some of our ESSER funds to improve our track and add 6 classrooms to the middle school. You know, those are projects we would never be able to do if we had to just pull from our general fund dollars. And they're short-term money. We're not guaranteed to have ESSER funds ever again. So I think using them for capital projects that can really be here for the life of this building and this campus are more important than spending them on consumables or even staffing that we can't guarantee we would have once those funds were gone. Some of the other things we've invested in is improving our career technical education shop so that we can expand our programs of study. We're looking at applying to have an automotive section as a certified program of study out from the CTE shop. So that is our vision from going from 2 programs of study to 3. Ready School Safe Learners, we recently updated our quarantine guidance to allow students to return after 7 days, as long as they can provide a negative test. We did this in guidance with Yamhill County Public Health. We were going with the 14-day, 10-day rule, which they had stood by up until this time. I'm really glad to see this because hopefully it will reduce the amount of time kids are out of school. We also, another thing I'm super excited about is with new money also comes a lot of reports and plans, which means there's always deadlines and due dates for these plans and reports to be in. And along with our ESSER plans, we also have the student investment account, we have high school success, we've got our SIP plan. The state is looking at aligning all of those plans so that we can use the same set of information, because all these plans require you to engage with your community, do tribal consultation, engage with students, engage with staff, and create a report and put that report into the plan. So they're looking at aligning all of these plans so that you can use one set of data. You can do one big community engagement push. You can do one set of student surveys and utilize that information for the variety of plans that are out there. And the hope is that we will actually get to one application process as well, where they can pull the information they need for each of those reports from your plan, whatever plan it is you're submitting, rather than having to submit 6 different plans. So that's really exciting. They always talk about paperwork burden reduction acts, but if this becomes a reality, I feel like they're finally walking the talk. I popped over to our work session from our leadership meeting. The leadership team has been actively working on updating our continuous improvement plan. We are working on our culture goal, improving school culture, and looking at some of the challenges to improving culture, some of the strengths we already have in place, and rewriting that goal. We are also going to be adding an innovation goal this year to our improvement plan, and starting to think about some of the lessons learned through the pandemic and not letting our last chaos of school go without meaning, and know that if we can survive that, we can survive disrupting education for good reasons. So we're looking at really putting some innovative ideas into how we engage with students, and that has me pretty excited. The other thing I wanted to update you about is Teacher Standard and Practice Commission, better known as TSPC by teachers, is the licensing board for educators. They have recently made some changes which allows for anyone with a high school diploma to apply for an emergency substitute license and be able to be a substitute in a certified classroom in public schools in Oregon. And this is due to the shortage of staff available to substitute. Right now, we typically go every day with unfilled positions. And so staff are having to cover for other staff on their prep periods. And, you know, it's wearing them out. They literally can go all week without a prep period. And, you know, so that planning goes home with them and they get it done at home or on the weekend, but it just makes for very long work days without breaks. And so this is TSPC's attempt at helping to fix this situation. We've already had quite a few people within our own employment group apply for those licenses. Some of our very talented instructional assistants have applied for license. It leaves a hole in their position if they have to fill a licensed position, but we appreciate that. We've also had some community members that, you know, have an interest in teaching apply for those positions as well. So we're hoping to get that pool of substitutes built back up so that we can make sure our regular staff gets their prep time. And transportation, we will be looking at going out for bid again for a contract. Right now we're with First Student, and we can have the option of going out to bid or extending the current contract. So I will get our contract and send that to you in your email so you can review it. You know, we've had some struggles this year. They're understaffed just like we are, and there is not a big pool out there. We're running with 2 less routes than we typically run every day, so we're combining a couple of routes. We're having sub-drivers every day. Fortunately, we have TJ, our new CTE teacher. He has a CDL license. He's driving bus in the morning just to help out.
And you'll have another one in January.
Yeah, we have Roy, you know, help filling in all the time. Our coaches are driving minibuses to get kids to games. So it's been a bit of a nightmare as far as having consistent routes and consistent drivers, but they do have 3 drivers in training that should be ready to go after Thanksgiving. Because part of the problem is that, you know, you can post positions, they can apply for them, but they still have to get that training in, and they have to get 3 weeks of behind the wheel training before they can drive kids on a school bus, which is a good thing, but it takes time. So we're looking forward to that being filled. And I will get those, that contract sent to you so you can review it, and we can decide whether we want to extend or go out for bid and go through the whole process again.
Is there another bus company out there?
There's Mid
Mid-
Columbia,
Mid-Columbia.
which they operate Sheridan, and we've used First Student ever since we went to contracted services.
They had 6 people. Quit.
Yeah, it's been tough.
Had people.
How much of all this is because of the vaccination rate?
It was that way when we started out the school year, yeah.
Well,
I
the
just-
places are giving them bigger incentives.
Right, and-
$5,000 bonus,
Oh, yeah.
come over here.
And some of them
People
went,
need
we went
workers.
for 2 years not having reliable bus services, so a lot of people sought other employment. And now that we need them all back, the pool's not there.
I've thought about it actually. People laugh when they think about me driving a bus full of kids. It'd be fun.
Oh, and you'll see in your packet, I also included our state at a glance. This is required that you get the opportunity to see the state report card. It's pretty bare bones compared to report cards prior to 2020, just because we haven't, most of the data included comes from the state assessments. And because we haven't given state assessments since that really 18-19 school year, we just don't have that data. Really, all we have is our graduation data. But if you can review that, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me, ask me.
Thank you, Carrie.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Next up, our principal reports is Sarah.
All right. Hey, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. For professional development last month, we needed to kind of take a reset. We used our in-service day to focus on our social emotional learning curricula that we have already implemented, but because of where students are at, they've been through a lot in the last 2 years, and their social emotional skills are not quite where we were when we left them pre-pandemic. Our teachers are also struggling this year simply because they haven't had to deal with the type of behaviors that we're seeing for the last 2 years. So we're really kind of doing a reset on our social emotional learning programs. We took half a day just to refocus ourselves, talk about what was in our toolboxes, and kind of get recentered. Additionally, we completed our staff charter for the year. So the staff charter is the first rule of anchor. So these are in every classroom. They're created by the students themselves, and it talks about 5 feelings that they want to feel for the rest of the year, and then it has action statements with how we're going to achieve those. So there's a picture of it for you because it was done really cute by the staff this year. The 5 words that they chose are comfortable, grace, supported, impactful, and safe. And then every staff member is represented. They chose to do a school bus this year. So that's their charter bus, and every staff member is pictured on there. And then we review it periodically throughout the year. And then if anyone has an issue with it, or if the staff isn't following the charter, we pull it out and discuss it. For school improvement plan, we participated in the Great Shakeout, which is an earthquake drill. It's our one that we do every year. It's a national drill, and we learned all about sheltering in place and then evacuating the building safely. We had Safe Kids come in and talk to grades 1 through 5. this last month. This is done through Juliet's House in McMinnville, and they talk about ways that kids can advocate for themselves when they're in an uncomfortable situation, whether it's abuse or stranger danger, teaches them coping skills with talking to trusted adults and how to get out of a dangerous situation. Sorry, I flipped the page. We had our Student of the Month for October. Rebecca Arredondo did a great job. She went around with a video camera and tape recorded teachers with their Student of the Month, announcing who it was, simply because big assemblies don't work this year. So all of our Students of the Month were honored for self-management. And then the trait for November is social awareness. We had a great Red Ribbon Week for the last week of October, which celebrated being drug-free. And students and staff participated in dress-up theme days, like Wear Red Day or Crazy Hair Day. And then the PTSO was really, really good about providing materials for students and teachers throughout the week. And we had some Halloween fun to celebrate October. Students and staff dressed up on October 29th. The kids had Halloween parties. Our staff participated in a group costume contest, which there's a picture of them in your board packet. They did a great job. This is our first and second grade team. They dressed up as characters from Toy Story. Our kindergarten teachers, every year they take an annual trip, like a field trip to a pumpkin patch. And this last year and this year, we've been homebound. So they turned the football field into a pumpkin patch. And then we had a petting zoo with mini horses and mini pigs come down. And so the kids could kind of interact with them, and they drank cider and had their pictures taken. It was really a cute event. Upcoming events, it really is kind of no school November. We have a lot of days off. We had grading day already. We have Veterans Day and family conferences coming up this week, and then our Thanksgiving break is the following week. Enrollment, we are staying steady at 367. We have a few different variations throughout the grade levels with new kids coming in and out, but our total enrollment stayed the same. And then I just attached my November newsletter that I've been sending out to parents and community members, just kind of keeping people updated on what's going on through the school. We are noticing that it's difficult without parents coming in the building to kind of keep them informed. So I've been trying every month to get this out to families and kind of keep up that communication and relationship that way. So that is about it for us for October. It was a busy month, but we are hanging in there. Any questions?
No, it doesn't appear.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Sean and Jamie? Sean go first, or does Jamie go first?
I'm going to go first today. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our professional learning activities, and just, you know, we've talked a little bit about it in the past couple board meetings, just our Mondays. And our focus this quarter was a project called What Does It Mean to Be a Bulldog? And it was centered around the sense of belonging and how students want to feel when they're at school. And they were asked to take something that they were interested in. They explored some of their interests and create a project that represented what it meant to be a bulldog. And so we gave those presentations in advisory groups on the 25th. The last time we met on a Monday, and the students had an opportunity to share their project in 3 to 4 minutes, and then they would get feedback from their peers, and they got a chance to give it multiple times. They did it in a format we call insiders and outsiders, where there's an inside circle and an outside circle, and so they're only really giving the presentation to one person at a time, so it takes away a little of that anxiety and fear of presenting. And so they had an opportunity to practice multiple times. And then this afterwards, the advisory group, they got a chance to vote on their favorite, the project that they felt was their favorite and also represented what it meant to be a bulldog. And so they were able to make a choice, and they had to choose and also give 3 pieces of evidence as to why they made that choice. And so then the teachers gave us the information of the students who came in as the top projects, in addition to others that staff felt were very notable and had done a really good job. And so we invited those students to come in this morning during our professional learning, and we had, I think, just over 30 students that came in around 8:45 today with their projects, and we ran the insider-outsider circle with our staff so that they presented to the staff, but one at a time, and then the staff rotated. So they got to do it about 6 times this morning. And so, and then from there, we pulled them in and they were using a high school student, Josh Anderson, is working on a documentary. That was his project. And so he's been really getting into filmmaking and videoing. And so he pulled in the students, and we're trying to put a compilation video of some of the projects. And so hopefully we'll have that done and be able to share it with you guys so you can have a look at that. And then today during advisory, or at the end of the day, the students, we paired 2 advisories up, and they got a chance to do an insider-outsider circle with another advisory. So they got to see some of the other projects from the other advisories, which was really great. It was a lot of people, and it was a lot of a buzz and movement, but it was also really exciting and inspiring to see some of the many interests being shared and showcased, and also the connection to what it means to be a bulldog. So listening to kids multiple times speak about the importance of that and what that means to them. We're going to shift for the next 4 weeks as we go into the holiday season. Our next project is going to be a little bit shorter, 4 weeks, and the topic is going to be Bulldogs Give. And so we're gonna dive into the concept of giving and what that means, and it can come in many different forms. And then each advisory will try to come up with some sort of a giving, an act of giving that they want to do, whether it's partnering with a community organization that's already doing something, or doing something on their own, or an act of kindness or something. But basically, they're going to be that's going to be our focus for the next 4 Mondays. And so that's I just wanted to share that with you, and it was a very inspiring day. It was exhausting, and there was a lot. It was a lot. Carrie mentioned kind of that innovation goal, and anytime you try something new or you step out there, it stretches you and it's uncomfortable. And I feel like our staff and our students rose to the occasion. And over this first quarter, there were plenty of times where they didn't exactly know what this was going to look like. And that's part of being innovative, is walking into that discomfort and taking risks and trying things. But the hope is that you begin to see students shine in ways that you've never seen before. And then you just want to build off that culture and keep that going. So I just want to give a big thank you to our staff and our students for putting that time and effort into making this first go at it work. And we learned a lot. And each of the students were given an individual reflection to do today, a Google form. So I'm looking forward to diving into some of that data and just getting student perspective on how the process was for them. And now I'm going to turn it over to Sean.
Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Jamie. So some other professional development that we took part in was we did a ruler training with our staff as well. It was our second one of the year. We had created our charter earlier this year. So we spent some time just reviewing the charter, its meaning, its purpose, reviewing the mood meter, again, meaning and purpose, and then also followed up with an activity kind of on the mood meter and kind of following up with some stuff for our charter. Other professional development was our middle school math teachers took part in an iReady training last week, where they spent an hour in the morning, I believe, going over data from the beginning of the year diagnostic, and then an hour in the afternoon where they spent about an hour, or they took an hour in the afternoon to go over how to work with students who are below level. Our eligibility team meets every 2 weeks to look at athletes and their grades. Students with more than one F are either on probation or they are ineligible. And then our office staff actually was at a training for 3 days last week to work and learn more about our eSchool program, which is kind of our main school hub for all of our office staff. As we look at staff and student recognition, we are continuing to do our Monday dog tag raffle videos. We didn't do one today, but we were able to still do an announcement over the loudspeakers. But we certainly will still try weekly to recognize our students who are being leaders and representing Bulldog Nation. Red Ribbon Week, kind of like Sarah talked about down at the elementary school for our middle school. Red Ribbon Week is put together by Kathleen Coffey and Angie Anderson, the two leadership teachers, along with the leadership students. They did things like decorate the halls. They designed and created different assemblies, dress-up days, and Halloween activities for the kids. So thank you to Kathleen, Angie, and the leadership class. I think we had about 32 students participate in the PSATs a week ago. And thank you to Terry Overfield for helping to organize and put that together. All juniors are going to take part in the ASVAB on November 15th. And then I know that Spire Nelson, our student rep, is probably going to talk about it, but I do just want to say, congratulations to all fall sports programs, and to highlight that a little bit, just the high school volleyball team with another league victory or league championship. I know that's at least the second one in the last 3 years, and making it to the state tournament. So just congratulations to those girls on, again, representing Willamina and the community. Lastly here, we do have conferences coming up this Friday, and they're going to be virtual. We did them last year virtually because of COVID, but we actually found that we had a significantly higher turnout because I think it creates more flexibility for parents to be able to attend. And so we are going to continue with our virtual conferences on Friday. And I believe we are doing those 8 to 4. So from there, Veterans Day, obviously the 11th, and then Thanksgiving break coming up. That's it from me.
Sounds great. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You do not have a tribal report?
I don't know if Angie's on.
She is not.
Okay, then next up, our student report with Spire.
Hello, I'm going to start you guys off today by talking about our fall sports as they all just got done finishing up. First off, our cross country team. Just last weekend, they competed at the state championship meet held at Wayne Community College. Overall, the boys team finished 6th in state. Two of their competitors, Michael Fox, he took 2nd and was second team all state and ended up taking 14th place out of 40 runners. And Jose Cruz was 3rd team all state and he took 19th. As Mr. Draper was saying, our volleyball team, they are this year's 2021 league champions again, and also our 2021 district champions. Then multiple player awards. Hallie Hughes got the player of the year for the Coastal Range League, Maddie Deal and Grace France for first team all league, Brooklyn Bailey and JC Smith for honorable mention, and then their coach, Heather Hughes, got coach of the year for the Coastal Range. And finally for volleyball, their postseason included the state playoff game against Harrisburg and Burns. And also a fun fact is that the team made the Elite 8 quarterfinals, which we last appeared in 2011. So that's very good for them. Our football team, they ended on a strong note, we're preparing for next year already, getting guys in the weight room. We finished the season 2-6, but we already have hopes with a young team coming in next year and staying this year that we can get some more wins. Our leadership team, we've been putting together a lot of pep assemblies, getting the school spirit going. It's been very nice as we're heading closer into the holiday season. We are already raising money for our Shop for a Student program. For those of you that don't know, the leadership team raises money and we go out and buy gifts for those students that are less fortunate, K through 5 in the elementary school. We are also accepting donations. We'll be holding multiple different donations throughout this time so we can raise money for that as well. Also on Wednesday, we will be hosting an assembly for Veterans Day. We are having a few guest speakers come in talking about their experiences in the military. So we'll be holding an assembly which will go from about 2nd period to 4th period on Wednesday. And finally, as we're leading into our winter sports seasons, boys basketball, girls basketball, and wrestling have already begun their signups, and I've heard practices are going to be starting very, very soon on November 15th. And our Buff Puff game, where we'll have the boys playing volleyball against each other, that'll be happening on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. And that's all I have to report. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty, now's our time for audience input or commentary. Is there anything from the audience that they feel might need to come before the board that is not on our current agenda? Hearing none, moving on. Final item, I will entertain a motion to adopt resolution 21/22-01 authorizing the appropriation of transfers for the 2021-2022 fiscal year.
I move to adopt resolution 21/22-01 authorizing the appropriation of transfers for the 2021-2022 fiscal year.
Second.
The motion to adopt resolution 21/22-01 authorizing the appropriation of transfers for the 2021-2022 fiscal year has been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All those in favor of adopting resolution 21/22-01 authorizing the appropriation of transfers for the 2021-2022 fiscal year signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay. Vote appears unanimous. There being nothing further on the agenda to discuss, the meeting of the Willamina School Board is now adjourned.
Gavel.
Took it away from me.